Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we are going to be making this really nice short. I have the video and the picture of the short attached to this. Let's just go straight into the materials and actually making the short. Alright, so to make this short, let us start off with the base. For the base, I use this acrylic yarn from Red Art. So it says right here to use a 5.5mm hook, but I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook yarn instead, and it's a medium size. Also, this is the hook that I'm going to be using, a 4.5mm hook, and that's for the base. And for the surface, I'm going to be using this yarns. It's a blanket type yarn. It's from Hometown Lion brand, and here it says to use 9.9mm hook. It's also 100% acrylic, but I'm going to be using a 6.5mm hook for this one because that's the biggest hook I have. You can use a bigger hook if you want. I'm going to try to use 3 of them, but I'm probably not going to have to use the full 3 because I'm a size extra small. If you're a size medium and above, I advise you to take 3 and above just so you don't run out of yarns. And for this one, I'm also not going to be using the full jumbo, but because this is the this is the yarn I have, so I just decided to use this jumbo. Also, we'll need a tape roll, a scissors, and one of these. Alright, so a quick one before we go to sizing. I need you guys to understand that the base that you use for your shorts, the base yarn you use for your shorts really matters. So using a thick yarn like this that's not like stretchy or anything like that is gonna be way better because you're gonna be putting a huge yarn on it, right? So you don't want it to like deform or stretch out in a way, so you need a firm thick base yarn like this one, which was a mistake I did before where I was using a different type of yarn and it just really messed me up a lot, and I had to like keep redoing until I actually got the gist. And for the sizing, we are just going to measure our waist for the shorts, and I already measured my waist to be around 26-27 inches, and for the waistband I'm going to make around 26-27 inches so I can do my shorts. Using my cream yarn, I'm going to be chaining 8. I'm trying to do a short not that long type of waistband, so I'm going to be chaining 8 this time around. After I chain 8, I'll skip these 2 and then chain into the next one. I'm going to be doing single crochets. So that should be a total of 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that should be a total of 6 single crochets. I'm going to turn my work right. I'm going to chain 2. After I chain 2, I'll go into both loop and then I'll do a single crochet. Okay, so in this next ones, I'm going to go into the back loop until I get to the end. Back loop, single crochet, back loop, single crochet, back loop again, single crochet. So I keep doing back loop, single crochet until I get to the first one here where I'm going to do both loops single crochet. So now that I have this, I'm going to turn my work again, chain 2, then here again I'm going to go into both loop and just do a single crochet, and then now I'm going to be working on the back loops. So skip this one, go into this other one, back loop again, back loop again, all the way until I get to the last one where I just do one single crochet through both loop. So the reason why I'm doing both loop at the last two ends is because I want this place to be quite straight for both sides whenever I'm trying to like work over it again. We're going to see that, and you're going to notice that towards the ending of the band. But that's the idea. So basically just doing chain 2, single crochet into both loops, single crochet into the back, and then over and over and over again until you get the length of the waistband. However, when you're measuring the length, don't forget you have to stretch it a little bit while you're measuring it, so it's not like basically getting the length of the unstretched waistband. You're gonna see what I mean towards the end also, because when you wear it, it's gonna stretch a little bit, so we don't want to make it too big also. But if it's too big, there are also other tricks we can use to make it fit anyways. So I'm going to meet you guys towards the end or halfway. So this is the last row. And then to measure it, now it's about 22, right? So if I stretch it out a little bit, so stretch it a little bit, so I stretch it a little bit, it's about 26, 27. So that's what I mean by you stretch it a little bit while you're measuring. So 26, 27, if I stretch it out a little bit. So now that we have this our waistband, we basically just close it up and insert our hook into like the first chain 2 that we did here. Then into the O, into the next O, do a slip stitch all the way to close it up. So now that we have this, let's chain 2. Okay, so this is what I mean when I say I want this to downside to be straight. You see how they look straight because of the chaining into the boat loop that we did. So now we can chain round, go around the downside to start where our shirt is gonna be at. So to start that one, we can firstly do single crochets for the first row. So we'll just go straight into the same hole that's right here, do a single crochet, right, go into this next one, a single crochet, next hole, single crochet, single crochet, and then we'll do single crochet round all the way. Until we get to the very first one, where so the row after this one we are going to be making another type of stitch, not a single crochet. We're going to be making alright guys, so towards the end already. So in the very last hole, and then I will just slip stitch into this first chain 2 that I did. right here. So now that we're done doing single crochets all the way down, we are now going to switch to doing half double crochets instead. And the way we're gonna do it is that, so right now the waistband is around 26-27 inches long, and if the size of my shorts, or like if my short size is a little bit bigger than my waist size, or if I have a bigger butt than my waist, I'm going to try to increase this a little bit, but then I want to just increase it from the beginning of the double crochet row. So to do that, I'm going to be doing an increase with every 5 stitches I do. So this is what I mean. So turn my work first, so that this is going to be the front and this is going to be the back. So after turning my work, I'm going to chain 2 and then do an half double crochet into the next chain. I'm going to do this 5 times. So this is 5 half double crochets. In this 6th one, I'm going to do 2 half double crochets. Okay, so now I'm going to do that round. So 5, then 2 into this one for increase. So after 5 you do 2, then 5 you do 2. So you just keep doing that all the way until you go back to this place and then do a slip stitch here. Alright, so I'm ready towards the end right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we'll slip stitch. Alright, so now that we have this like this, right? So now it's time to work into the back loops. So now we're going to be working into the back loops only. So chain 2, we're still doing the same half double crochet, but into the back loops instead. So right here we'll go into the back, next one into the back, into the back, and in this row we don't have to be increasing anything again. So this was the only row we did the increase. Now from now on we don't do any increase, as long as we can see it's gonna be the right size for our short. So you see, as you're doing it into the back, the front loops are kind of like staying on top of it, which is what we want. All right, so we are nearing the end. Right here we're going to slip stitch into the first chain 2 we did, and then we're gonna turn our work. Okay, so here, instead of actually doing into crocheting into the back loop, we're going to be crocheting into the front loop here. So chain 2. So when you're in the back of the shorts, you crochet into the front loop. When you are in the front of the shorts, you crochet into the back loop. So this is what I mean. So right now we're going to crochet straight into the front loop. So this is how the back looks like, and this is how it's gonna look like in the front. So you see we have the same edge that we have here on both sides. So we're going to continue this all the way. We'll continue all the way until we get back here. Alright, so we're in the last one, and then I'm just gonna go straight into the first loop right here. And then slip stitch. Like this. Now turn your work. This is how the front looks like. So now chain 2, and then we are going to continue this back loop again. So now we're going to be going in the back loop right here. And we're going to be doing this until all the way straight down until we get to around 5 inches. And this is for my own size, which is an extra small stroke small. But if you want a medium or so, you can increase it a little bit more to like 6, or better still, just like measure yourself from like your waist to before you get to the beginning of your leg, if you get what I'm saying. Because once we get here, then we're going to make the legs from here. So for mine, it's gonna be 5 inches. I'm in the last row. Let me turn my work. So this is how the front should look like. And this is about a little bit above 5 inches, I believe. About 5.6 or 5.5 inches. Yeah, this is about 5.5 inches or so. So once I get here, I can still chain that one to just hold it down, right? So now let me chain 15. Right? And you can chain more depending on your size. As I said already before, size small to extra small, so I'm using 15. You can chain more, add more, 5 chains or add 10 chains depending on how your size is. I would say for a medium you can add an extra 5 or 3 actually, and for a large you can add an extra maybe like 6 or so, but it wouldn't really change that much. And now we need to get the exact or close to the exact middle of this shirt. So that's where this comes in. So basically I can count it, the chains in circles like this, and then that's divided by 4, and count how many it is gonna be from here, divided by 2, and count how many it is gonna be straight down from here. So it's easier, or I can just use my eyes to see it. But I think it should be probably around here using my eyes, but then let me count it just to confirm again. After counting it, in a circle it is 91, so I counted 46 from year to year, because 90 divided by 2 should give 45. So for plus 1 is 46. So one side is 45, one side is 46. And now we should be hopefully in the middle like this, right? So don't forget we chained 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We are going to insert our hook straight into where our 46 chain is, and just make a slip stitch right there. Okay, so now that we have a slip stitch, we can take this out, and then we can chain 2. So we've chained 2 like this, right? So after chaining 2, we can start working in a circle around this way. And so now the length of the short is going to be totally up to you, depending on how short you want it to be. You can add 3 rows, you can add 5 rows, you can add as much as you want. You can make it as long as you want also. As I was saying, the length of the short is going to be totally up to you. You can add 3 rows, you can add 5 rows, depending on however you want it to be. As long as I'm gonna be adding around like 5 to 6 rows thereabout. So basically following the same pattern we've always been doing. I'm doing our half double crochet, and I'm going to do into the same hole once, and then I'm going to continue doing my half double crochet at the back. And I'm going to continue this all the way until I get to my desired length. Then after, I'm going to switch to this other side and continue the same exact thing. I'm going to meet you guys once I get to my desired length. So this is the end of the first half of the leg. So after this last one, I just slip stitch again to close. So I did a couple of rows for the first half of the leg. I made it about, let's see, about 4 inches or 5, no, about 4 inches or 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 inches. And you can make it as long as you want. It doesn't really matter. But let me cut it right here. And then I can just work this in. And now we're going to repeat the same thing in the other side. So I'm going to repeat the same thing in this other side. So for this one, we can start, we'll see where the line is. We can start here. And you can literally start anywhere actually, because it doesn't really matter, because we're still going to be working over this bridges and the shorts. Chain 2. Now we're going to be working in a circle like this again. So into that same place. Now working in the back loop, and we continue all the way until we get to the same height as this side of the shorts. So I'm already nearing the end. And in the very last chain, till we make a slip stitch, and just tie it off and cut. You can work this in, so just like I did. So now that we are done with the short on its own, it's time to add the ruffles thingy around it. Alright, so we're changing our hook to use a 6.5mm hook, and you can basically just use the biggest hook you have, as long as it's reasonably big enough. And firstly, we're going to be using this yellow colored chunky yarn, and we're going to be working into the first edge right here. You can decide to do it in here, work it in depending on your preference, but we're going to be working it basically into the edges that we have right in these places. And the amount of edges you work it into actually also depends on you. If you want it, the amount of edges you work it into also depends on you. If you want them to be really like tight together and like stick together, you can work them into alternating edges, like side by side. But if you want it to be a little bit free, like the one I did, you can work it into alternating edges. Like you can skip one edge and work it into the next. So you work it here, you skip this, you work here, you skip this, you work here, you skip it, you work here. So basically like that. But I'm going to be showing you guys exactly the way I did it, and I'm going to be skipping one edges each in the middle, and you can skip two also. It all depends mostly on how you like it. But I also want us to know, before we start working in, look at this line here. That's where we ended our rows. So I'm going to try and start from this line here so I can make it as clean as I can. Right, so let's just go straight into this first one. I'll turn my work. I will just insert my hook right in here. Chain 2. Try and work this in. So after you chain 2, we're going to be chaining 1 into this. So do a single crochet into this, and then you insert your hook into the next edge, do a single crochet, and do another single crochet into the same one. So we're going to be doing 2 single crochets into each edge. Go to the next one, we'll do 2 single crochets again, and that's how we're going to be doing it in a circle around this edges all the way until we get back here. Alright, so in the very last one. So now that I have this, I'm just going to do a slip stitch into the first chain so that I did right here. And then I'll just cut and work this in. So you can change colors to a different yarn or whatever it is if you feel like using the same color, but this is basically the main thing we're going to be doing like throughout. This is basically the main thing we're gonna be doing throughout. So now I'm working into this next one. This time around I want to change colors. I'm working in here and I want to change colors. You can change it to red and do the same thing again. So skip this, go straight into this one right in here, this first one. I'm going to chain 2, then do single crochet into the same place. The next one I'm going to do 2 single crochets. Next one, 2 single crochets, and do it again and again and again all the way till I reach here. And then when I get here again, I'm going to skip another one and go into this, skip this, go into this, skip this, go into this, all the way until I get to this very last place before I split into my 2 legs. But once I get here, I'm going to meet you guys right here so I can show you guys how to do the ones around here, because we don't want to do the chunky yarns around this side so it doesn't get uncomfortable. But I'm going to show you guys when I get there. So when we get here, I'm going to meet you guys again. Alright, so once we have gotten to this place, it's time to focus on the legs, right? And for the legs, we're going to try and do it a little bit different. So because we don't want this line right here, the middle of the leg, to be as clustered up as this side would be, we are going to reduce the numbers of stitches we are going to have there. So instead of having 2 single crochets each in one, we're going to be doing just 1 single crochet. So let me show you guys how it's gonna look like. So I already did something like that here already. So continue with the same pattern from like this in a circle and around. When we get to this first edge where we firstly have this right here, so when we get to the first place right here that we add the change to make the split, we are going to change from having 2 single crochets in one to having just 1 single crochet all the way until we get back to this edge again. So from this first edge to this last edge right here, you do only 1 single crochet, and then when you continue back, you continue your 2 single crochets, and you see the difference in how this one is just straight up straight and less crochets compared to how dense this one is, because we have double crochets, double 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets. So let me just go straight into it and show you guys how it looks like. Alright, so I'm gonna go straight into right here. I'm going to chain 2. Do a single crochet inside this chain 2, and then work in a circle like this. So do 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets, all the way like this until I get to right here, and then I will change to just 1 single crochet. I'm going to meet you guys right here. Alright, so we've gotten to the last edge. So from this edge right here all the way to this other edge in a circle like this. So after this one, we are going to change from 2 single crochets to just 1 single crochets in a loop. Okay, so right now all the way straight down we're gonna do just 1 single crochet. Alright, so this is how the 1 single crochet looks like compared to the wiggle 2 single crochets. And then right here we just slip stitch and cut. So now that we already have like an angle of how it's gonna look like when we change colors, if you decide to change color, you will just follow the same thing we did of 2 single crochets, and then you change to 1 single crochet when we get to the split. But let's work this in as much as we can, doesn't really matter. So we have something like this, right? And now we're going to complete all the way until we get to the edge right here, because we're gonna do the same thing in the edge right here. So we're just gonna complete it all the way down in both sides. When we get to the edge, I'm going to show you guys what to do. Alright guys, so I'm done with most of everything, right? It's only remains the very last edge of the short. So on the very last edge of the shorts, we are going to be doing exactly the same thing we've been doing, but here we're going to be working into boat loop, if you get what I'm saying. So right here we're going to go straight into boat loop and chain 2, and then do our single crochet, and then in this next one into boat loop I do 2 single crochets. So basically like this, and that's what we're gonna do around in our circle until we get to this last edge here, where we just do 1 single crochet all the way down here. And basically that's it guys. I'm going to meet you guys in the end again, and if you decide to recreate these shirts, please don't forget to tag me on your post, and I'm going to meet you guys in the end, because that's basically the end of the shorts. Alright, so I'm done with the shorts. I will just work in the loose ends. And this is how the shirt looks like guys. So you see the tape, the ends on both sides, and this. So if you decide to recreate the shirts, please don't forget to tag me at Ellie's Book on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever. It's always at Ellie's Book. And I will see you guys in my next tutorial. Don't forget to like, share, and comment if you're gonna don't forget to like, share, and comment whatever it is you think. And if you also have questions, please ask questions, because I could have missed some little details I could have missed some little details. And if you just have any questions, please ask questions and tell me in the comment what you think about the shorts, and are you gonna be recreating it. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe also and share. Bye.